everyone, and welcome back. Hi, my name is Kristy. I am located in Western Massachusetts, Zone 6A, with an average last frost date of May 15th. And today, while the kids are out on a walk, and it is a gorgeous Monday, I decide I'm going to direct sow my sugar snap peas. I will be growing them along this cattle panel. Last year, I did it on another garden bed, and I had them grow up a trellis. It worked beautifully. I will show a picture. We had such a great harvest. I loved watching it grow. However, it got so tall and flopped over. I had to use so much extra garden twine to keep it up while we were harvesting it over the few weeks. So this time I thought, why not just use my cattle panels? It's way more sturdy, and that way it can still start from down here, go up and all the way around, and then I will add them to the other side once I get my soil in. Now, normally I would wait until my garden beds were filled. I make my own garden soil. I purchase from a local supplier a 50-50 mix, so it's 50% topsoil, 50% compost. I add worm castings, I add some peat moss, and I also add perlite just to help with the moisture control and the drainage. And then the worm castings, just like a really nice little fertilizer to add in. The worm castings I got from Costco, a few bags, and I still actually have some left over, and they had the same brand actually offered now. So we're going to just use some extra cedar pickets that I have. I don't obviously want to fill the whole bed. I just need probably about 2 or 3 inches where I can sow the peas. So I'll be using my extra cedar pickets to help hopefully hold up enough soil so I can direct sow them today. And I will keep them moist over the next week until they start to germinate. You can actually take your seeds and pre-soak them. I did not last year, and I still had some great success. So I'm going to just skip the pre-soaking, and I'm just going to get them right into the ground. We are expecting rain tomorrow, so that will also help with germination. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to set this up, and let's get started. So this is the garden bed that I choose to put my sugar snap peas. It gets great sun. It is setting right now. So what I love about where I picked for my garden bed is it gets a lot of morning sun, and then anywhere from like 2 to 4 or 5 p.m. it gets some shade from the pine trees, but then it gets all this afternoon sun as the sun is setting. So I have here some extra cedar pickets. So I use these actually to make all of my garden beds. They were way cheaper than buying cedar. Cedar is very hard to get around here, and I wanted something that hopefully would last a little bit longer. So, and I just really love the look. So a few weeks ago, I did some garden cleanup, and I added all of my dead leaves here. I tried picking out as many pine needles as I could. So we have a lot of dead leaves that will help with the soil. So I will just put these as close to my little supports that I have here and push them in. And I'll probably just get like a big rock or something, or a bucket filled with dirt, just to hold this up. We'll be getting soil delivered this weekend, and then I will fill these beds. This actually used to be a strawberry bed, and then I went crazy one day and pulled all of the strawberries out because it was just attacked by so many slugs that I don't even think we even had more than 10 or 15 strawberries. So I pulled them all out. So this year we will be using it and putting it to good use with tomatoes, because this bed gets mostly like all the sun in this area. So now that I have my supports up, we are going to mix our soil. I did have some leftover Pro Mix that I have been using, and then I will use this bucket. I love this bucket right here. I got it for like $8 at Home Depot. It is fantastic. So I'm going to just add my Pro Mix, and then if I have some left over, I will probably add to the other side. This bed over here actually has raspberries and blackberries. But I would like to add some over there. So let's just go ahead and mix this all in. Okay, so we have our soil, and I'm going to break it up. I just got my hose over here so we could pre-moisten this. What I like to do, especially because this comes shipped, it is so compressed and compact, but that before I add anything, I like to just go in and knead the soil, making sure I get as many of the clumps broken up as possible, and really work it in. All right, next I'll be adding my perlite. I actually had some of this left over. Obviously try not to breathe it in. I have a big bag coming from Home Depot that I will be adding, a big 4 cubic foot one actually. And it just helps with the drainage. We get a lot of rain here. Last year actually was a really wet summer from years past. So we have this, and I'll fluff that up. I do have some worm castings. This is the brand that I actually got from Costco, and they still sell it too, which is great. And I'm just gonna sprinkle just a little in there. I don't go too crazy, but then I just mix it in. And then this soil will only be here until the rest of my soil comes in, but this should hopefully work pretty good. All right, I got my hose. Let's see if we can moisten it. And then mix it in. And it will be raining tomorrow, so that will definitely help as well. But then we're going to be getting a lot of sunshine. I feel like last year I actually did this a lot earlier in the year, but that's okay. All right, we'll add a little bit more water, and I think this should actually be plenty to add. All right, that looks good. So as I said, I'm going to be using these cedar pickets, and then I will just have this as a temporary hold, like a wall, until I get this garden bed filled with my soil. Again, I like to use a 50-50 mix. We just get it with a local landscaping. They do like mulch and everything. It's cheaper. We just pay a flat fee for it to be delivered, and we're gonna get like 10 or so yards of this. We'll be using it through here and all of my flower beds and my perennial beds, and then mulching around all of my hydrangeas that I have. So we will be using a lot of it, trust me. So I'm gonna move the camera and show you how we will set this up. All right, so I went ahead and filled this. Unfortunately, I thought I was recording and I wasn't, but that's okay. So next I'm going to just make a trench. Usually I would just use a shovel, and I'm going to make a trench. I'm gonna have it probably an inch or so off of my cattle panel. And again, you can pre-soak these if you want. I did not last year, and I still had some really good success. I am using some seeds from Johnny's. These are the same ones I used last year, and I really, really like them. So I am just going to fill them in, and you can kind of really just splurge. I got a big bag of them, but I just completely fill it. And I don't worry about too much about spacing. If they want to grow, they will grow. All right, just fill in some of those extra gaps. All right, that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to just backfill and compact these down. And I will give them a good water. And it is as simple as that to direct sow. So now I'm going to give them a water. And there you have it. We just have to make sure they stay nice and moist, and then I'll just have something making sure to hold up the boards, and we should be good to go. There we have it. We had direct sown all of our sugar snap peas. We're just going to make sure that we keep them moist. It is as simple as that. That is why I love direct sowing. There's no extra work inside, no worrying about harding them off. Just direct sow them and we will be good to go. I will make sure I keep some updates for you It looks like Madeline is coming to check out and see what I did while she was gone. I will post a picture as well so you can see how I have the boards held up, and hopefully we'll see some germination in a few days or weeks, and I can't wait.